Why'd you say cheese? All right. So we are going to try this example about horsepower and miles per gallon. The first thing it says is to create a scatter plot. Before we decide what we're going to put where, let's check to make sure it's appropriate to make a scatter plot. Are these two variables quantitative?
Yes.
What are their units? Miles per gallon and horsepower. That's their units. So perfect. All right. They are quantitative, so we can make a scatter plot. Now the question is, do you think horsepower explains miles per gallon, or miles per gallon explains horsepower? I agree. I think horsepower, how big your engine is going to explain your fuel efficiency. So I'm going to hit doc. Insert. Data and statistics, number 7. Where it says click to add a variable in the x-axis. Our explanatory is horsepower. I think horsepower explains miles per gallon. So horsepower is our explanatory. So HP for me. Now you'll notice that's a dot plot with just horsepower. But this is new. We've never done this. We're going to add a variable in the y-axis, and we're going to add miles per gallon. Whoa. I know. All right, so we have created our scatter plot. That's part A. Part B, to describe it, what 3 things must I reference? Direction, form, and strength. Okay? So here's what I would write. Here's what I would write down. And you've got room to the right of that slide to write this down. Are you ready? There is a. There is a. Negative. There is a negative. Linear. Moderate. All those are commas in there, I should have said. There is a negative, comma, linear, comma, moderate association between horsepower and miles per gallon. There is a negative, linear, moderate association between horsepower and miles per gallon. So that mentioned direction, form, and strength, and it mentioned it in context. What was my context that I put in that sentence? Between horsepower and miles per gallon. You will get counted off points on the AP exam if you do not give context. If you just say there is a negative, linear, moderate association, period, you don't get full credit. Context, yes. Does not matter. Order doesn't matter. Good question, Tanya. Order does not matter. I'm always going to think direction, form, strength, but order doesn't matter as long as you mention all 3.
And why association?
Why did I say association? Have I done anything with correlation yet? I haven't. So I'm just going to keep it association. You could say correlation because did we say they were quantitative? Yes. Did we say that it was linear? Yes. So it's okay to use the word correlation, but I always just use association first. Everybody okay? All right. Part C. Part C says, find the correlation between horsepower and miles per gallon. So this is going to quantify how strong or how weak the linear relationship is between these 2 variables. Okay? What letter is this? R. The last one. R. Well, it's part C. But letter R, lowercase r. So I'm going to write down a lowercase r on that slide. Lowercase r. So we're trying to find R. And again, what does this measure?
Correlate.
It is the correlation coefficient. What does it measure? The strength of what? Very good. And more specifically, not just the association, the linear association. Remember, it's all about linear. All right? All about linear. So that's all correlation can tell you about, the linear relationship. Okay? All right. Let's see how to do it on the calculator. So here we go. Hit doc. Insert. calculator page, which is number 3. Doc, insert calculator. Menu. Statistics. Stat calculations. And I want you to look for number 4. Does everyone see number 4? So here it says linear regression, a plus bx. I know number 3 says mx plus b. Do you guys remember mx plus b from a couple years ago? That's the slope-intercept formula. We're not going to use that. That is so algebra. Okay? We're not using number 3, using number 4. All right? So a plus bx, number 4. What is our explanatory variable? Horsepower. What is our response variable? Miles per gallon. Now, I want you to take note of this. We're not going to use it today, but we'll use it next week. It's going to save the linear regression equation, which I'll explain what all that means next week. It's going to save it to F1. So just keep in mind what that says on your calculator in the future, because we will use that. Not for this example, but in the future. Okay? Leave frequency alone, leave everything else alone. So tab all the way down to OK.
Whoa.
And hit OK. Now, there's a lot that's going to be here. But the only letter that we have talked about is R. And what is that number? So I'm going to go 3 after. So negative 0.869. Negative 0.869. So that negative makes sense, because what did I say was the first word? I said negative, so we're good there. All right? Now, I think I said moderate. I said moderate, right? Negative 0.869, you could probably say strong, because that's really close to what?
-1.
Negative 1. The closer you get to negative 1, stronger it is. The closer you get to positive 1, stronger it is. So usually in my mind, I say if it's -8 to -1, negative 0.8 to -1, and 0.8 to +1, I keep that as strong. Anything that's below that in like the 0.5 to 0.75 range, I'm thinking moderate. Anything getting closer to 0, I put weak. All right? There's no like set thing. There's no set thing. But if you say that 0.2 is strong, then you'll definitely be wrong. All right? If you say 0.9 is weak, that will be wrong. So there are ways that you can be wrong, but it's not like a set thing. Yeah.
So don't we have to calculate the R curve before we can tell whether it's moderate or negative?
So remember how I said that I'm going to say it, and then I'm going to do more stuff, and you can go change it. So yeah, I might go and be like, you know what? I think it's strong now. All right? Because the computer now is giving you more information. All right?
So now you change the association to correlation?
You could also change association to correlation, because it looks like they have a negative linear relationship. So yes, you can use the word correlation if you'd like. But if you say it's linear and they're quantitative, then you're good to use the word correlation. All right? Any questions on part C? So hopefully, I guess I should write that down. R is negative 0.8, was it 69? Thank you. All right? Yes, Jacob. Ooh, some students do moderately strong. You could do that.
Normally strong.
I try to leave them as separate things. I think if you start getting into the moderately weak and mildly strong, you're just getting a little too, but it doesn't matter. They're not going to be that mad about it on the AP exam. Yeah.
If you don't use the word like correlation,
No, if you were the association, that's fine. They will take off points if you use correlation incorrectly. And I'll be sad. All right, part D. Part D, here we go. Write a few sentences telling what the plot says about fuel economy. So we said that there is a negative linear relationship between the horsepower of a car and the fuel efficiency, so miles per gallon of that car. What can we write about it? The higher the horsepower, the lower the fuel efficiency, or miles per gallon. That's what I would write. All right, so you can say the higher the horsepower, or the more horsepower you have in your engine, the lower you should expect your fuel efficiency to be. Notice, did I say that they are causing and affecting each other? No. There are a lot of other things that go into fuel efficiency. So we're saying that we expect the larger your engine, so the more horsepower your engine has, we expect the fuel efficiency of your car to be less based on this relationship. Margot, yeah.
So what saves you is we expect.
Exactly. You saw my weasel word. We expect. That saves me because when somebody says, I have a really, really big engine with a lot of horsepower, my fuel efficiency is still really good. And I'll say, that's why I said I expect. Based on these, is it 20 cars? Based on these 15 cars? How many cars it is? 15. Look at that. Based on these 15 cars, that's what I'm expecting. But there are cars out there that will break this. Okay? What's that? The Accord? I mean, if you're going to make a joke about my car, at least get it right. Roberto.
Yeah.
No. All right. Just kidding. Yeah, go. All right. We have 5 minutes. I want you to look at the next one. Okay? I want you to take a look at it, see what you can do. We're going to start with this one tomorrow, and we're going to ride one of those roller coasters together. All right? I know. You'll see which one tomorrow. For